In the beginning, long before the rise of the great empires we know today, before the pyramids pierced the skies of Egypt and before the mighty cities of Mesopotamia flourished along their rivers, there was said to exist a kingdom of unparalleled beauty and power. This kingdom, resting on fertile islands surrounded by a vast ocean, would one day capture the imagination of poets, philosophers, and dreamers for centuries to come. Its name Atlantis. The legend of Atlantis has haunted human history since the time of Plato, the Greek philosopher who first set pen to paper to describe a civilization that seemed almost too perfect to be real. Plato spoke of Atlantis as if it were fact, not fiction, recounting tales passed down through generations of priests in Egypt to his ancestor Solon, who in turn shared them with the people of Athens. According to Plato, Atlantis was larger than Libya and Asia combined, an island empire that stretched across the Atlantic Ocean, boasting wealth beyond comprehension. Its lands were blessed with rivers, fertile soil, and precious metals that gleamed in the sun. The people of Atlantis lived in harmony with both nature and their gods, building temples that reached the skies, palaces adorned with gold, and walls that shone like polished bronze. They were advanced in knowledge, art, and engineering, and their ships sailed far beyond the horizon, spreading their influence across distant lands. Plato described Atlantis in two of his works, the Timaeus and the Critias. In them, he painted a vivid picture of a society blessed by the gods, particularly Poseidon, the ruler of the seas. It was Poseidon, according to the legend, who fell in love with a mortal woman named Cleito and created the first Atlantean dynasty upon the sacred island. To protect his beloved, Poseidon carved out concentric rings of land and water around her dwelling, creating an island fortress that no invader could breach. Bridges and canals connected these rings, while towering gates and stone walls kept the empire secure. At the heart of Atlantis stood the Temple of Poseidon, its walls plated with silver and gold, its roof so high it seemed to touch the heavens. Within it stood a statue of the god himself, driving six-winged horses, so massive that it inspired awe and fear in all who gazed upon it. The Atlanteans prospered under the blessings of their divine patron, their cities flourishing with markets, harbors, and ships filled with treasures from across the known world. Their knowledge of architecture, engineering, and astronomy was said to surpass that of all other civilizations combined. Some even claim they mastered a form of energy unknown to us, tapping into natural forces of the earth and sea that allowed them to build wonders beyond imagination. But as with all great civilizations, prosperity gave way to pride. The Atlanteans, once noble and wise, grew greedy and corrupt. Their desire for power pushed them to conquer other lands, extending their empire into the Mediterranean. According to the story, their armies swept across territories with unmatched force, their ships darkening the seas as they advanced. But when they turned their eyes toward Athens, they met resistance. The Athenians, though far less advanced, stood firm and managed to repel the invaders. This defeat marked the beginning of Atlantis' downfall. Angered by the arrogance of the Atlanteans, the gods decided to punish them. One fateful night, as storms raged and the earth trembled, Atlantis was swallowed by the sea. Mountains crumbled, waves rose like walls of water, and fire poured from the depths of the earth. In a single day and night of misfortune, the mighty empire vanished beneath the waves, leaving nothing but memory. Plato's words echo through time. Atlantis was destroyed, and so it remains lost beneath the ocean, its glory drowned forever. Yet the story does not end there. From the moment Plato shared the tale, people have debated whether Atlantis was real history or symbolic myth. Was it a memory of a once great civilization, preserved in fragments and passed down through generations, or was it Plato's way of warning humanity about the dangers of arrogance, greed, and moral decay? For centuries, scholars, adventurers, and dreamers have argued both sides. Some dismiss Atlantis as a philosophical allegory, while others insist that the details are too vivid, too precise, to be mere invention. After all, Plato claimed the story was not his own but a retelling of records preserved by Egyptian priests for thousands of years. Could such a detailed account truly have come from nowhere? The legend seeped into every corner of history, whispered through medieval texts, rediscovered during the Renaissance, and revived during the Age of Exploration. Sailors spoke of strange islands appearing and vanishing in the Atlantic. Maps from the 15th and 16th centuries sometimes marked unknown lands across the ocean, inspired by rumors of lost kingdoms. When explorers set out to chart the New World, some believed they might stumble upon the remains of Atlantis itself. Even today, the myth endures, drawing scientists to the depths of the sea and inspiring countless theories about where the sunken city might lie. The description of Atlantis was too rich, too elaborate to fade into obscurity. The concentric rings of land and water, the vast temples glittering with precious metals, the bridges and canals that connected the heart of the city to its ports, these details carved themselves into the imagination of humankind. Every empire that rose and fell afterward could be compared to Atlantis, a reminder that even the most powerful civilizations can collapse overnight. The story became not just a legend of a lost city, but a warning written into the fabric of human memory. For the Atlanteans, if they truly existed, life must have felt invincible. Imagine walking through their great avenues, lined with statues of marble and bronze, their faces gleaming in the sun. Imagine the markets filled with exotic goods brought from distant lands, ivory, spices, gems, and textiles. Imagine the harbors, where ships with white sails stood ready to conquer the seas. And at the center, the Temple of Poseidon, rising above all, its golden walls glowing in the light of dawn. Children grew up believing they were favored by the gods, that their empire would last forever. But as history teaches us, forever is fragile. The night of Atlantis' destruction must have been one of chaos and terror. The ground shook violently as if the earth itself sought to swallow the proud city. Towers crumbled, walls cracked, and flames erupted from beneath the soil. Families fled into the streets, their cries drowned out by the roaring of the ocean. Waves rose higher and higher, swallowing ports, markets, and homes. Ships were lifted into the air and hurled against the cliffs. Lightning lit up the sky as if the gods themselves had declared war on their creation. And then, silence. The sea calmed, the earth grew still, but Atlantis was gone, buried beneath the waves where no mortal eye could see it again. Yet legends have a way of surviving even when their subjects do not. Fishermen swore they saw lights flickering beneath the ocean at night. Travelers spoke of strange islands that appeared on the horizon only to vanish the next day. And storytellers passed down the memory of Atlantis, each retelling adding new layers of wonder and fear. For some, Atlantis became a paradise lost, a golden age humanity could never reclaim. For others, it was a reminder that power without wisdom leads only to ruin. Ever since Plato's words first echoed through the halls of history, the world has searched for Atlantis. If it truly existed, then where did it lie? The philosopher claimed it was beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar, the narrow passage that separates Europe from Africa and connects the Mediterranean to the Atlantic. To him, Atlantis lay in the great ocean beyond, a mighty island empire stretching across the sea. But centuries of explorers, scholars, and dreamers have proposed countless other locations, each convinced that they have uncovered the truth. And with each theory, new mysteries are born. Some claim Atlantis lies beneath the waves of the Mediterranean itself. Near the volcanic island of Santorini, once called Thera, archaeologists uncovered the ruins of an advanced Bronze Age civilization. The city of Akrotiri, buried beneath volcanic ash for thousands of years, revealed frescoes, streets, and homes that stunned the modern world. The eruption that destroyed it sent shockwaves across the region, reshaping coastlines and swallowing entire communities. To many, this cataclysm mirrored Plato's description, a flourishing civilization destroyed in a single night. Could Atlantis have been Thera, its memory preserved and magnified through the centuries until it grew into the legend we know today? Others turned to the coasts of Spain and Morocco, pointing to strange circular ruins visible from the air. In the region of Doa plus or minus Ana in southern Spain, satellite images revealed shapes beneath the marshes, concentric rings of land that seemed to echo Plato's description of the island city. Explorers dove into the waters of the marsh, uncovering stone tools and pottery fragments, sparking excitement across the world. Was this the gateway to Atlantis, buried not beneath the open ocean, but beneath shifting sands and rising seas? Across the Atlantic itself, even more extraordinary discoveries have fueled the legend. Off the coast of Cuba, sonar scans detected massive shapes lying deep beneath the waves. Explorers claimed to have found symmetrical structures, pyramids, roads, and buildings, resting on the ocean floor 2,000 feet below. Divers and submarines sent images of geometric stone blocks and patterns too orderly to be natural. The news stunned researchers. Could this be Atlantis, resting in silence for thousands of years, hidden by the sea? Skeptics warned of illusions, tricks of light and shadow, or natural formations mistaken for ruins. Yet the possibility lingers, calling those who dare to believe. The Bahamas too have whispered of lost cities. Beneath the crystal-clear waters of Bimini, divers stumbled upon a massive stone formation stretching for hundreds of feet, known today as the Bimini Road. Huge rectangular blocks lie side by side, forming what looks like a paved pathway descending into the ocean. Some believe it to be the remains of an ancient harbor or seawall, while others insist it is nothing but a natural limestone formation. Still, the image of a road leading into the deep, vanishing into blue shadows, fuels the imagination like few things can. Even the frozen lands of Antarctica have been drawn into the story. Strange maps from the Age of Exploration, particularly the Piri-Reis map of 1513, seem to depict Antarctica-Euro-S coastlines long before the continent was officially discovered. More intriguingly, the map shows parts of the land without ice, as though it had once been a fertile, inhabitable region. Some theorists argue that Atlantis could have been an advanced civilization in Antarctica, swallowed not by waves but by shifting poles and frozen in time beneath miles of ice. To this day, the mystery of the Antarctic ice hides secrets humanity has yet to uncover. But perhaps the most haunting clues lie in the Bermuda Triangle, the stretch of ocean between Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico where ships and planes are said to vanish without explanation. Beneath its waters, divers have claimed to see towering structures, pyramids of glass and crystal resting in the deep. Legends tell of strange lights rising from the sea, instruments malfunctioning, and compasses spinning out of control. Could these be remnants of Atlantean technology, still pulsing with energy after all these centuries? Or are they nothing more than illusions created by the ocean itself, feeding our desire to find wonder where none may exist? Science has not remained silent in this search. For centuries, explorers with ships and submarines have scoured the ocean floor, using the latest technology to peer into the darkness below. Sonar imaging has revealed mountains, valleys, and plains hidden beneath the waves, entire landscapes that resemble the surface of another world. Off the coasts of India, near the Gulf of Cambay, scientists discovered structures resembling ancient cities, submerged for thousands of years. Streets, walls, and geometric shapes appeared in sonar scans, hinting at civilizations lost to time. If great cities could vanish beneath the sea in India, why not Atlantis in the Atlantic? Even satellites circling high above the Earth have joined the search. Their eyes pierce through water and sand, revealing patterns unseen by the naked eye. From space, faint lines stretch across the seabed, resembling roads or walls. Vast geometric shapes appear and disappear, fueling speculation and controversy alike. Are these signs of human construction, or simply natural formations twisted by our imagination into evidence of Atlantis? Some even suggest that the Atlanteans themselves may not have been entirely human. Ancient myths often speak of gods who came from the sea, beings of great wisdom who taught humanity the secrets of fire, agriculture, and architecture. Could these Euro have been Atlanteans survivors of an earlier age, or perhaps a race of beings who had walked the earth before us? The statues that once lined their temples, depicting figures with elongated heads, strange eyes, or wings, may have been more than symbols, they may have been reflections of those who ruled Atlantis. And when Atlantis fell, these beings vanished with it, leaving only whispers behind. If we look across the myths of the world, the echoes are undeniable. In Egypt, there are tales of Thoth, the god of wisdom, who brought knowledge of writing and science after a great flood. In Mesopotamia, there was Oans, a being who rose from the sea to teach humanity laws and learning. In Mesoamerica, the god Quetzalcoatl came from across the waters, bringing knowledge of astronomy and architecture. Each of these myths describes figures who appeared suddenly, with advanced wisdom, then disappeared again into the sea or the heavens. Could they all have been memories of Atlanteans, scattered across the earth after their homeland was lost? The possibility grows even more haunting when we consider what might have caused their destruction. If Atlantis truly mastered forces beyond our understanding, then perhaps it was their own technology that brought about their end. Imagine crystals overcharged with energy, machines out of control, experiments with nature spiraling into catastrophe. The earth shook, the seas raged, and in their attempt to master the world, they unleashed powers that consumed them instead. A civilization undone not by foreign invaders, but by the very knowledge that made them great. And yet, the ruins may still hold their secrets. Some claim that fragments of Atlantean crystals have been found, washed up on distant shores, glowing with strange energy. Divers in the Bermuda Triangle tell of structures that shimmer as though alive, their surfaces humming with a faint vibration. There are whispers that deep beneath the waves, machines still sleep, waiting to be awakened, their power dormant but not gone. If such relics exist, they could transform our understanding of science forever. But perhaps there is danger in uncovering them. Perhaps the lesson of Atlantis is not only that knowledge can be lost, but that some knowledge is too dangerous to hold. The mystery of their technology has become a mirror for humanity itself. We, too, have unlocked forces we barely understand, splitting the atom, reaching into the stars, creating machines that think for themselves. And like Atlantis, we stand on the edge of greatness and destruction, our future balanced on the choices we make. The legend of Atlantis is not just about a city swallowed by the sea, but about the eternal question: what happens when humanity gains the power of gods, but not the wisdom to use it? As the waves crash and the deep ocean keeps its silence, one cannot help but wonder, are the crystals of Atlantis still glowing in the darkness, waiting for someone to find them? Are the temples of Poseidon still standing beneath miles of water, their golden walls dimmed but unbroken? Does the empire of Atlantis sleep, not gone but waiting, dreaming beneath the sea until its secrets are once again awakened? The Atlanteans may be gone, but their legend lingers like a shadow over our world. Each time a storm rises, each time the sea swallows land, we remember the warning. Each time we build machines of power beyond comprehension, we hear the echo of their fate. Atlantis is not just a city of the pasta euro, it is a prophecy of the future. For centuries, the story of Atlantis lived in books, whispered in myths, and painted across the imagination of humankind. But in the modern age, curiosity turned into obsession. With science and technology in hand, explorers and researchers began to hunt the lost city in earnest, determined to prove once and for all whether Plato's words were a fable or a record of forgotten history. The ocean, vast and merciless, became their frontier, its depths both a promise and a barrier. And so began the great quest, one that continues to this day. The ocean covers more than 70% of our planet, yet humanity has mapped the surface of Mars more completely than the floor of our own seas. Darkness, crushing pressure, and endless silence guard the secrets of the deep. For centuries, these barriers kept Atlantis beyond reach. But with the rise of sonar, submarines, and satellites, the veil began to lift. The search for Atlantis moved from myth to expedition. It was in the mid-20th century, during the golden age of exploration, that the first serious efforts were launched. Naval sonar scans, intended to chart the ocean for warfare and trade, began to reveal shapes on the seabed that sparked wonder. Vast plateaus rose like mountains hidden beneath the waves, ridges stretched for thousands of miles, and valleys deeper than any canyon on land yawned in the darkness. Among these discoveries came whispers of unnatural formations, lines too straight, blocks too symmetrical, patterns too ordered to be the work of nature alone. Some believed these were the first glimpses of Atlantis' ruins, hidden on the floor of the Atlantic. The Bermuda Triangle became a focal point of obsession. Sailors reported strange compass failures, planes vanished without trace, and ships drifted empty across the currents. Beneath its waters, divers claimed to see structures of stone, arranged in lines and pyramids, half buried in sand. In the 1960s, a diver near the Bahamas stumbled upon what would become one of the most famous mysteries of the modern search, the Bimini Road. Stretching for hundreds of feet beneath crystal waters, massive rectangular stones lay fitted together like a paved causeway. To the eye, it looked like a road disappearing into the sea, a fragment of a lost harbor or seawall. Scientists argued it was natural limestone, fractured by erosion. But for believers, it was proof, a surviving piece of Atlantean architecture reaching out from the deep. Farther south, off the coast of Cuba, came perhaps the most stunning discovery of all. In the early 2000s, a team using sonar scans to map the seafloor detected something extraordinary: vast geometric shapes lying 2,000 feet below. The scans revealed what appeared to be pyramids, roads, and buildings, arranged in patterns that no natural formation could explain. Submersibles sent back grainy images of massive stone blocks stacked in symmetrical forms. The news sent shockwaves around the world, but controversy followed quickly. Skeptics claimed the scans were misreadings, the images too blurry to confirm. Others argued that if the structures were real, they must belong to a civilization lost far earlier than Atlantis itself. But to those who believed, this was the closest humanity had come to touching the legend with its own hands. Europe, too, held its mysteries. Off the coast of Spain, near the marshes of Doa plus or minus Anna, aerial photographs revealed circular patterns etched into the earth. Concentric rings, eerily similar to Plato-Euro's description of the city, seemed to hide beneath layers of mud and sand. Excavations uncovered ancient tools and artifacts, hinting at a thriving community long ago swallowed by floods. Was this Atlantis, resting not in the vast Atlantic, but on the shores of the Mediterranean, hidden in plain sight? Each discovery raised new questions, each clue leading deeper into the labyrinth of speculation. Technology advanced, and with it, the search grew more ambitious. Satellites orbiting Earth captured high-resolution images of coastlines and seabeds, revealing faint lines and geometric shadows in places long forgotten. Off the coast of India, in the Gulf of Cambay, sonar scans revealed vast submerged structures streets, walls, and pillars stretching across miles. The discovery stunned archaeologists, for if confirmed, it meant cities had existed thousands of years before history recorded them. If such civilizations could vanish beneath the waves, then why not Atlantis? Submarines, once the tools of war, became vessels of exploration. Pilots descended into the crushing blackness of the ocean, their lights cutting through eternal night. They glided across landscapes no human eyes had ever seen before. Mountains taller than Everest, valleys deeper than the Grand Canyon, and plains stretching farther than the horizon. Among these alien vistas, sometimes, they reported things that defied explanation. Towers of stone, walls too straight, steps that seemed to lead nowhere. Some dismissed these as tricks of geology, the randomness of nature arranged into illusion. But others saw in them the fingerprints of a forgotten hand, a lost civilization still slumbering beneath the sea. The pursuit of Atlantis was not only a quest of science, but of belief. For every discovery, there were skeptics. Scientists demanded evidence, artifacts, inscriptions, undeniable proof. Believers argued that the ocean itself was proof enough. How many cities had already been found beneath the sea? Heracleion, the Egyptian city once thought myth, now lay excavated from the Nile Delta, its statues and temples rising again from the seabed. Pavlopetri, a Greek city older than even Plato-Euro's time, was rediscovered. Beneath shallow waters, its streets and homes perfectly preserved. Time and tide had buried them, just as they could have buried Atlantis. If these could be found, why not the greatest of them all? In laboratories, researchers analyzed the myths of ancient cultures, comparing them across continents. Nearly every civilization told of a great flood, of lands swallowed by water, of gods who punished humanity's pride with destruction. The Sumerians spoke of a flood that wiped away kingdoms. The Bible described Noah's ark and the deluge. The Mayans and Aztecs told of worlds ended by water. Could all these be fragments of the same event, remembered through different eyes, echoing the destruction of Atlantis? As technology marches forward, so too does the search. Today, unmanned drones scour the depths with cameras sharper than ever before, mapping the ocean floor in exquisite detail. Artificial intelligence processes mountains of data, hunting for shapes too subtle for the human eye to see. Slowly, the blank spaces on our maps are filling in, and with each discovery, the possibility grows stronger that something extraordinary may be waiting to be uncovered. But the ocean guards its secrets fiercely. Darkness, pressure, and distance make exploration a costly and dangerous task. Entire regions of the seabed remain untouched, their mysteries preserved in silence. The thought that Atlantis may lie in one of these unknown corners drives explorers onward, as if the sea itself dares us to uncover its hidden empire. And yet, the search for Atlantis is more than a hunt for ruins. It is a mirror held up to humanity's own longing, to know where we came from, to find proof that our history is deeper and stranger than we have been told. Each expedition is not only a journey into the sea, but into ourselves, into the unspoken hope that perhaps we are not the first to walk this path of greatness and loss. That perhaps, once, long ago, humanity soared higher, dreamed larger, and fell harder than we can imagine. And so, the submarines dive, the sonars scan, the satellites circle above, and the questions remain unanswered. Somewhere beneath the endless waves, there may lie streets once filled with life, temples once glowing with light, and the shattered remains of a civilization that mastered the world before it was swallowed by the ocean. Or perhaps there is nothing at all, only shadows, illusions, and dreams. But until the seas give up their secrets, the search for Atlantis will never end. The search for Atlantis has carried us across oceans, through myths and ruins, into the depths of science and imagination. And yet, despite centuries of pursuit, the city remains just beyond our grasp, forever hidden, forever calling. But perhaps the truth of Atlantis is not only in the stones buried beneath the waves, but in the questions it leaves us with. Perhaps Atlantis is both a mystery of the past and a mirror for the present. Imagine, for a moment, that the ocean were to part, that the waters themselves opened to reveal what lies below. Picture a vast plain stretching out in silence, the remnants of avenues and harbors, of towers that once kissed the sky. Statues lie fallen, their faces worn smooth by time, their eyes staring into eternal darkness. Streets that once echoed with footsteps are now home to silence and shadows. Temples that once glowed with fire and light now rest in black water, their walls wrapped in coral, their altars empty. This, perhaps, is the true Atlantis, not destroyed, but sleeping, preserved in the arms of the sea. And yet, even in its silence, it speaks to us. It tells us of greatness, of a people who rose higher than any before them, who harnessed the forces of nature, who built a paradise with their own hands. It tells us of arrogance, of how pride can blind even the wisest, how greed can poison even the purest of hearts. And it tells us of the cost of imbalance, how a civilization that loses harmony with the world around it cannot endure, no matter how strong, no matter how advanced. Atlantis is more than a city lost to time, it is a warning carved into the memory of humanity itself.